Hello everyone, today I would like to discuss with you about an interesting topic which is about legacy carrier versus the low cost carrier.
What is legacy carrier?
The traditional definition of a legacy carrier is one that had established interstate route by the time airline deregulation took place in Airline Deregulation Act of 1978. It's a bit more complicated than that, but let's define the different attributes of legacy carrier. A legacy carrier is an airline that has a long history that usually originates at some point in the first half of the 20th century. The legacy carriers operate over an extensive domestic and transoceanic international route structure. By definition, legacy carriers are very large airlines and they are usually most of the largest. The legacy carriers predominantly use a hub and spoke route network. It also offers short, medium, long, and sometimes ultra long haul flights. By this definition, there are three US-based legacy carriers, that is American, Delta, and United Airlines. British Airways, Lufthansa, and Qantas would be examples of legacies in other areas of the world. What is low-cost carrier? Low-cost carriers are different from their legacy competitors in that they offer less upscale and service product in return for lower cost fare. A low-cost carrier or low-cost airline, also known as no-frills, discount or budget carrier or airline or LCC, is an airline that generally has lower fares and fewer comforts. Today's low-cost carriers include the following attributes. Fares, while not always the lowest, are typically marketed to the price-sensitive customer. A high portion of an LCC customer base is the leisure traveler and they frequently market to the segment. Low-cost carriers almost always have one class of service, that is coach. The seating attributes can be differentiated sometimes, but on-board service is almost always uniform and the same for all passengers. The route structure is much more point-to-point in service with the addition of focus cities scattered through a served market. Routes are mostly short with some medium haul and little long haul business taking place. Today, Southwest Airlines is the largest low-cost carrier in the world. WestJet in Canada, Volaris in Mexico, EasyJet in the UK, Ryanair in Ireland, and AirAsia out of Malaysia are all notable examples. The impact of low-cost carriers in the aviation industry. The impact of low-cost carriers to the aviation industry has been tremendous. The deep market penetration of low-cost airlines caused conventional carriers to cut flights, close hubs, and even abandon service to some cities. In the last few years, with high fuel costs and the slowing global economy eating into the bigger carriers' profit margins, only budget airlines have consistently reported profit or expanded their routes. In Asia and the Middle East, the low-fare sector has dramatically grown in the last decade, and there are no signs that the expansion would be curtailed. According to OAG, low-cost carriers in the Middle East have grown at an annual rate of 52% in the last decade, whereas traditional carriers only grew at an average rate of 7% per annum. The global financial crisis and its effect on the aviation industry. The weakening global economy has also forced more customers to opt for the no-frill approach to flying just to save money. While the biggest draw for discount airline is still obviously the lower fare it offers, this is not the only contributing factor to their success. For frequent flyers, the biggest factor that makes low-cost carriers more attractive is the availability of flights on budget airlines. With conventional carriers scaling back their operation, there has been less choice in schedules. The growth of budget airlines has brought into question the future of legacy carriers. Big carriers are increasingly pressured by high fixed costs and relevant market positioning to consumers. The legacy carriers are increasingly focusing on cost efficiencies. They are focused on particular traveler segment, consolidating through mergers and acquisition, and investing in their staff training and communications. Today's new competitive landscape puts large, well-established airlines in fierce competition with low-cost airlines. How legacy airline can be competitive again. Legacy airlines everywhere have to wake up to the new reality. Many still refuse to do so or are hampered by governmental or military demands that are divorced from commercial exigencies, as is the case in many developing countries. However, some carriers such as Aeroflot, Air Canada and All Nippon Airways faced up to the market conditions several years ago. These success stories provide some indication of how matured airlines can remain competitive and forge their own strategic pathway in this era of budget airline dominance. Their strategies were based on six principles of successful turnaround. That is, new leadership that sets and communicates a clear vision and set of objectives, a focus on cost efficiencies and profit maximization, no compromise on quality of customer service, membership in an alliance network, regional consolidation, often through mergers and acquisition, and investment in staff training and improved communication both internally and externally. Together, these six activities provide a powerful set of principles and practices that can be weaved together into a successful turnaround strategy. With or without recession, air transport competition is intense across the world, and legacy airlines have struggled to adapt to cost pressures, increased customer expectation, and new competitor threats. Some have successfully managed this transition, providing a ray of hope for legacy airline managers everywhere, and illustrating how not only to keep pace with, but move ahead of budget airlines and other new entrants in the struggle for passengers, markets, and profits.
Thank you for watching. Bye bye.